Advisory services offered through Blackridge Asset Management, a registered investment advisor. Securities are offered through Peak Brokerage Services, LLC. Blackridge Asset Management is a separate and independent entity from Peak Brokerage Services, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. And now, today with Denny, here's Denny Artache.
All right, welcome and good morning, everybody. I am not Denny Artache. I am Glenn Wiggle, one of the financial guys, and we'll be joined by the other financial guy, Mike Lomas, in just a few minutes here, filling in for the great Denny Artache. And I guess Denny is traveling today, and we do have a quick opportunity to catch him before he hops onto a plane. So I'll go to you right now, Denny, and say welcome to your own show. Thank you for calling in. How does it feel to be on the other side of the window, calling in versus being on the air?
Well, it feels pretty good. I learned from the master. Remember, you and Lomas got me to start doing my radio show. And, I don't know how you do it, Glenn, traveling as much as you do, dealing with the face typer at the airport, TSA, everything like that. No thanks. So before I leave, do you have any pearls of wisdom before I land in New York? It's been so many years. I can't remember how far back it was.
Well, it depends on where in New York you're going. You going to New York City?
We're going to fly into the city and predominantly be out in the island in Nassau County.
Yeah, my best advice is watch your back. I'm not even kidding. Keep your head on a swivel. Crime rates are up over 100%. Muggings, murders, rapes, you name it. There's construction crews now. Now, construction guys, you think of big burly guys, right? You're a big guy too, Denny. You're not a small guy or a pushover by any stretch. In New York, the construction workers are walking each other to the car now in groups for fear of getting mugged. No, I'm serious. That's no joke.
You're totally serious.
I am dead serious. See, people in Florida don't understand how bad socialist states get. They see it on the news, but Florida, here down in South Florida, especially in, Stewart, Jupiter, and down in Palm Beach, we live in paradise, right? So when you live in paradise, you want to think about fun things. You want to look at the beach and the ocean and go fishing. And, sometimes you tend to tune out what's going on in the rest of the country. And thank God we're fortunate enough to do that. But I know New York well, of course, because our main office is in New York, not in New York City, but in Buffalo, New York. And so we get the politics firsthand, and we've seen the destruction firsthand of what those policies create. And in New York City, you've got de Blasio, a Commandant de Blasio, who is really an open communist that has been running that city for the last bunch of years. Nobody likes this guy. It's been a disaster for New York City. And you see that in the crime rates. You see that in the rent rates. You see that in the occupancy rates and things like that. It's unemployment rates in New York are twice the national average. I can go on and on. So I would say move quick, keep your head down, and stay to the shadows. If you can.
Listen, I so love that I'm in Florida, believe me. And I love all that we're doing and being part of the financial guys and all the great work that we do. So I'll let you know how it goes. I want you to have fun and don't hold back. I want you and Lomas to rip it up today. And I look forward to seeing you next week when I get back.
All right. Safe travels, and keep your hand on your wallet in New York as well. That's amazing. You'll probably pay a toll right when you get off the plane.
Well,
I would definitely have some 20s
I'm not going to go
ready.
to too many places because I didn't bring my my vaccination card. So, I'm just going to stay away from the pubs and stuff.
Well, you can't. You won't. That's in New York City. You cannot go into a bar or restaurant or gym, a movie theater. You might not be able to get into the wedding you're supposed to go into. So anyway,
well, we'll see. We'll have fun. Anyway. And thanks for hosting the show, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Denny Artache, traveling to New York. Good luck. And I know we got Mike coming up here in a second. We have Mike on the line. Mike's calling me on the other line. How is he calling me on this line if you're on this line? You are on the other line. You are coming on. I'm just going to text him quick. Hey, there you are. Okay, perfect.
All right.
I was trying to end the call and text you on the other line. So, all right, Denny wanted to check in quick. He was in the airport. He's actually headed to New York City. So he was asking for advice, Mike, on any last minute advice on heading to New York. So I gave him all the standards, stick to the shadows, move quickly, watch your back, hide your wallet,
Yeah, no, it's peaceful. They're all loving. Everybody's all inclusive and together.
Yeah. Oops, sorry, move the microphone here. So yeah, anyway. So I got a bunch to talk about today. This is, by the way, Mike and I have done a show for going on 23 years up in New York. Now, I'm down here in South Florida. I live in Jupiter, and I'm fortunate enough with today's technology, we have the ability to broadcast from anywhere in the world, really, right? So, Dan Bongino does a huge show across the country. He does it right out of his living room. right here in Stewart, actually. And it's amazing. So I get the opportunity we have a studio in the office in Buffalo, studio in the office in Florida. And so, of course, we know Florida politics well, going across in New York, really the entire half of the state, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, run all three of the major conservative stations there and have been for many, many, many years. So normally a call-in show, we may take some call-ins today. I can't have both you and a call-in on the line, Mike. So I'll plug the number. And if we do get a call-in, I'll have to put you on hold and switch over. It's 222-WSTU, 222-97. Oh, 220, sorry. 220-WSTU, 220-9788. I got to start with this. Down in South Florida, we have the owner and the headquarters of the Babylon Bee. Those that don't know the Babylon Bee, it's a satire website on the conservative side of the spectrum, much like The Onion was for the leftists, right? So it's a satire website. They do funny things. And I got to tell you, it's got to be getting harder and harder for them, because satire now is becoming reality. Okay,
it's reality.
It's reality. You cannot make this stuff up. In 2019, the Babylon Bee, jokingly tweeted California school system to feature mandatory second grade field trips to gay bars. Now, right? You thought that was right? You thought that was hilarious. Funny.
No way.
Funny. 10/27. This is yesterday, 2021. A school in Broward Schools District took elementary age kids to a gay bar on a field trip today. Yes, indeed, they did. And again, you can't make this stuff up. It's parody becoming reality, and this is what happens in the leftist socialist dream. So. Anyway.
They're out of control. They're mentally ill and sick is what they are.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, who does that, right? Who thinks this is a good idea? Who thinks forget the gay part of it for a second. Who thinks taking elementary school kids to any bar is a good field trip, right? I mean, do you want your 8-year-old to be, seriously? I mean, now
we're in Jupiter. How about the Turtle Rescue place?
Turtle Rescue.
That would be a nice place to take them. There you go. God. They can learn about cleaning the environment and caring for animals and all that stuff, right?
If you're going to take them to a bar at all, maybe a brewery, and you can teach them about, the process and fermentation and so. What educational value is there in going to just a regular bar, let alone a gay bar? Is a strip club coming next? Is that the next thing? It's really crazy how far we've gone.
Think about their platform right now: defund the police, and taking children to a gay bar in this case. I mean. Just completely destroying any of the moral fabric that kids are built on, right? I mean, really, these. And by the way, there's a lot of Democrats out there. They go, well, I'm a moderate Democrat. Then switch your party. Your party. I'm not saying you become a Republican, but figure something else out, because these people are mentally ill and sick, and they are all about communism and destroying this country. And it has never worked. Don't give me it's Democrat socialism. It's socialism. It's communism, and it's never worked. It's failed every single time, and it's failed in this country. We left New York. We still go back and forth. We've got a big business up in New York. I can tell you that there is not one place in this country that is Democrat run that isn't already a what hole or on its way to that. That's just the reality of it. It's sad.
Yep, absolutely. I don't care what area you pick: Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit, New York City, LA, San Francisco. I think out of the top 15, I think I posted this a while ago, out of the top 15 crime cities, all of them except one were run by Democrats. I said all were run by Democrats. So I said, no, that's not. Jacksonville's on the list. They're run by a Republican. Well, he just got into office like a year ago. So believe me,
we'll give him a chance.
Give him a chance to clean things up, right? And that usually is how it happens. But you got to look at what this administration of Washington is doing, whether it be gas prices, whether it be supply shortages, whether it be, we got some big deadlines up north this week at places like New York, California, I think Illinois, I think Michigan are all hitting mandate deadlines, right? 4-point-something million people left the workforce last month. How many more million people will leave the workforce this month because of the mandates, right? And I'll thank God, again, Florida, they don't have, in fact, we're using this to our advantage down here, right? Offering police officers and first responders a bonus, vaccinated or not. But you got to feel for some of these folks. I mean, I was watching Fox News this morning, 15-year surgeon, right? Now, when you go to a hospital, folks, in places like New York, you may have to now wait 3 or 4 hours. Why? Because they fired a third of their nurses, right? They fired them because they refused to get the vaccine. These were heroes a year ago, and now they're demonized. It's crazy. Mike, we got to take a break. We'll talk more about this on the other side. If you want to join us again, 220 WSTU 220-9788. You're listening to the Denny Artache Show, which I'm now renaming officially as the Denny Artache Show. And but you got Glenn Wiggle, Mike Lomas in as guest host. We'll be right back here on WSTU. Alrighty, welcome back. Glenn Wiggle and Mike Lomas, the financial guys, in for Denny Artache here on the Denny Artache Show. And I know it's been previously called Today with Denny, but I am officially going to change the name on his behalf to the Denny Artache Show. I'm also going to change his band name, by the way. It's going to be now Artache going forward, as opposed to the Denny Artache Band. So we're going to do some rebranding for Denny. Mike and I have been doing radio shows and own multiple companies for the last 20-some years, and kind of fancy ourselves as marketing, I don't say specialists or experts, but certainly we know our stuff. We spent a lot of money doing wrong things to figure out how to do it the right way. So anyhow, this is now the Denny Artache Show. Welcome. And if you want to join us, 220-WSTU, that's 220-9788. Before I go back to Mike, I wanted to go to Palm Beach Charlie, who's Palm City. Sorry, Palm City, yeah. Charlie. I got my Palm.
I'm not that fancy.
Welcome to the show, Charlie. How are you? Thanks for calling.
Good. So I understand you're Denny's buddy.
I am a friend of Denny and a colleague, yes.
Yeah, I'm a friend of Denny's too. So anyway, I was listening to your talk on the liberal mentality, and the way I think about it is liberal logic and liberal think. The up is down, down is up. Nothing is. They're just trying to turn our world upside down. The school boards and everything, fighting with the parents, not letting the parents get involved. It's ridiculous.
Well, they don't want you involved. They don't want parents involved. They believe, and they, every now and again, they let the cat out of the bag. And they will say things, and they'll let out these trial balloons to see how they fly. I don't know if you remember this, Charlie. A few years ago on MSNBC, one of their anchors, were running a commercial, and she literally said, we have to change I'm going to paraphrase, but it's going to be darn close to word for word. We have to change the thought of parents and children in this country. Children belong to entire communities. This whole notion of your kids are yours needs to change. Kids belong to entire communities. That's how they think. They need to indoctrinate the kids in schools.
It takes a village. That whole mentality, it takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village to raise an idiot, I think.
Yeah, right. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. Yeah. CRT is ridiculous. I taught fourth grade years ago for 1 year. They said, you want to come back? I said, hell no. Heck no. Okay. But anyway, I really believe that we need to go back to logic as opposed to illogical thinking.
Yeah. Like
the border is really open. We know that.
Right.
Well,
the gaslighting's amazing, Charlie. There's nothing to see here. There's no border problem. What border problem? We'll just ignore the problem. Afghanistan, that went smoothly, exactly as planned. There's nothing wrong with Afghanistan. Supply chain issues, those will resolve themselves. Inflation, transitory only. It's a joke.
Okay. I was a sales manager. I taught selling. Okay. I worked for holiday spas for years, became a sales manager, quick closing. And if you say a lie often enough, it becomes truth as far as people think. Well, I've heard it so often, it has to become truth.
That's right.
It's called brainwashing.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. It's
American
citizens need to think of Team America, not blue and red. I actually became a libertarian. I'm so sick of the GOP not having gonads. That's a college word.
Yep. I'm leaning that way myself. I'm a registered Republican. I have been my entire life, but I got to tell you, they are outside of a handful, right? You got a Ted Cruz, you got a Tom Cotton, you got a Jim Jordan, you got a handful of folks in Washington. Rand Paul is probably the best, the number one best.
There you go.
Everybody else, useless.
DeSantis, I think DeSantis is phenomenal.
Mitch McConnell,
as a New Yorker,
not so much.
New Yorker, Trump. I love the man. I was
Yeah.
screaming, "Oh my God, dangerous sales!" because he's pushing the envelope constantly.
Yep. Yep. You
But
work for him,
he's
though.
trying to wake up Americans to think,
Yep.
this is absurd. I mean, kissing up to China, they are our competitors, our enemies. They want to dominate. They've actually said they have a plan to dominate the world.
Yep.
Why would we kiss up to them? And
Right.
to give Iran, okay, you can have nuclear in 10 years. Oh, great. Great. That's wonderful. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's if to be Israel has to be the most scary position, right?
Oh, there
be,
you go
I
with
mean,
the squad. I call them the mean girls.
yeah.
Oh my God!
Well, the
You know,
communists. They're just flat out communists. I mean, talk about
if you're a
ungrateful.
Jew, if you're a Jew and you vote Democrat, you're out of your mind.
I don't understand that. That is something I have never quite understood. Now, the very conservative, Orthodox Jews, Hasidic Jews, they're all voting Republican, right? But there is a huge class of New Jersey, New York City that believe in they're just. I guess I don't know what to say, but they vote against their own interests, and it's a sad sad thing to see.
I'm a Cold Spring Harbor boy. That's where I grew up on Long Island.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're lucky to escape New York. So
yeah, well, God love you, and I miss Denny, and I'll be doing the show next Thursday, Palm City, Charlie, and Marla.
nice. All right. Well, we'll see you here. Thanks for the call,
All right,
Charlie. We
brother.
appreciate it.
Take it easy.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right. We'll go back to Mike here and get him back on the line. Mike, how are you?
I'm good.
That was Palm Beach Charlie. He's a regular. He's filling in for Denny next week. I know because Denny's gone for another week or so. Week vacation
nice.
in New York. I don't know if Denny's
I
going
didn't
to
know
make
Denny
it
had
that long in
friends.
New
That's
York.
good to know. I thought you and I were his only friends.
That's what I thought too. But apparently he's got a couple of them here. So including the producer.
Yeah. Well, the producer's got to work with him. There's no other choice.
I don't know how often Denny talks about his music on the radio, but he is a true rock star. I mean, I've seen few guitar players and musicians that are as talented as Denny is. I had the opportunity to see him. You weren't in town, Mike. Unfortunately, you were. I think you're up in New York at the time, but he played with his Santana tribute band at Terra Firmata, and it was phenomenal. Just some of the percussion section, the whole deal was just spot on. I mean, it really is entertaining to watch. So if you haven't seen him play, make sure you get out and see Denny Artache. I believe he's playing at a charity event coming up in a couple weeks.
Well, the bands he's played with, right? Three Dog Night, Iron Butterfly. I mean, just amazing. And the people he's been able to interact with throughout the years. I mean, he's met Billy Joel and Van Halen and Peter Frampton, and these are all people that he's gone on tour with and played, before. So pretty neat to be able to be a part of that. A huge part of the reason why he says he's in the financial business, that names, but when you play with bands like, you do see a lot of people in that industry that make all for it. And he would always talk about that, the fact that, I got into business because I saw a lot of these people. They needed financial help. They had the income side of it. They didn't have the investment side of it. And it's a huge part of why he's where he is today. So if you have the chance to interview, Denny, definitely take advantage of that, because there's not a lot of financial planners that have the background that he has. And he's been in the financial industry for a long time. So he didn't just, get out of being a rock star yesterday and decided he was going to, all of a sudden be a financial planner. This was not new to him. He's still out there playing because that's what he loves. I saw him we went out, we had a conference in Jupiter, and we had about 70 reps or so in, and we all went out for drinks, cigars after, and there was a gentleman playing there, and we just started shooting the bull. And I told him Denny's background, and oh my gosh, he couldn't believe it. He goes, "You think he'd come up and play a song?" And Denny came up, and he literally took over the place. It was just that amazing to see. So,
yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. And you could say the same thing about sports as well. I mean, you've seen. I'll never forget when I was younger. I watched a fight between I think it was Tyson and Spitzer. That lasted all about, or no, not Spitzer. I'm thinking the Elliot Spitzer.
Holyfield?
No. It wasn't Spitzer, but it was something like, it might have been Spitzer actually. Leonard Spitzer, Leonard Spitz something or other. I don't remember. But the guy made a lot of money. He was down in a minute 31 seconds. This guy got knocked out. Made millions of dollars for about a minute and a half in the ring with Tyson, right? But the thing is, he went on to be a janitor in the Las Vegas school system, right? So how do you go from making millions of dollars fighting in one fight? I think he got paid this is in the 80s, by the way. I'm talking, 30, 40 years ago now, right? Yeah. How do you go from making $15 million in a minute and a half to sweeping floors at the, Nevada high school,
Yeah.
right? Well,
you save 200,000 of that in a properly diversified portfolio, and it's millions of dollars today.
Right. But that's the problem. Like, people live to their means. We see it in our own book of business, right? We have our wealthiest clients are not the ones that necessarily made the most money. Our wealthiest clients are the ones that had the most, disciplined savings program or investment program, right?
Well, and to point that out, the discipline part of it is the most important part, because there's so many people who they waste their time looking for these, grand slam hits. I'm gonna search the entire day to try to find the next Bitcoin, and that's fine for a little percentage of your portfolio. But the reality, the bigger section should be well managed. It should be diversified, and it should be constantly rebalanced. And that's a simple tool that people can take advantage of. We did that with our clients throughout COVID. We were in diversified portfolios. We had some money in short-term bonds and money market accounts. And when the market went down, we just bought some. And it went down a little more, we bought some more. And, recently we've been doing just the opposite. And, not that we're a timing firm, but you just make these subtle adjustments along the way to be able to take advantage of things. And if you do that, that's the efficient frontier of investing, and it gives you the highest probabilities of being successful over time.
Yep, no doubt. All right, but we've got to take a very short break. Before we do, though, I want to plug that there is a Halloween party and dance on Saturday night for the Hope Sound VFW. Tickets are $16. You get salad, Italian food, music, and dancing starting at 6 o'clock. Music and dancing starting at 7 with Generation Gap Entertainment. A huge dance floor, well-stocked bar, and all proceeds to benefit Martin County veterans. So if you can get out there to the Hope Sound VFW this weekend, please do. Tickets are only $16. It'll be a great event and a great Halloween party. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back here on the Denny Artache Show. All right, welcome back. You've got the Financial Guys in for Denny Artache here on the Denny Artache Show. I'm Glenn Wiggle here with Mike Lomas, and I've been on the air for 20-some-odd years in Western, I shouldn't say even Western New York. It's been the western half of New York State at this point. And pleased to be filling in for Denny. Denny's been a friend and a colleague for many years, and just really appreciate the opportunity to fill in for him. If you need Denny throughout the week, by the way, if you say, you know what, I really would like to come in for a consultation, maybe I'm nervous about the choppiness of the market, or maybe I just need put together a solid plan. Denny also does things like Medicare as well. He can help you there. I know that's we're enrollment season right now. It's awfully a complex subject. So if you need Denny, go to his website, Artache Financial Group, which is ARTACHE, Artache Financial Group, like Art Ake Financial Group, ArtacheFinancialGroup.com, or you can call him on his directly his office, which is 561-305-8226. That's 561-305-8226, and you can reach Denny there, and I'm sure he'd be happy to help you out. So if you want to reach us here, 220. I don't know why I want to say 222. You know why? Because another station that we're on is 222-1180. That's why. But we're not on 1180. We're on WSTU, which is 220-WSTU or 9788 if you want to join us here. All right, we'll go back to Mike. Mike wanted to jump over to maybe some finance here. GDP numbers for the third quarter revised downwards to 2 pathetic percent. I think it was something along those lines, right?
Why is it that when Democrats are in office, we're always revising down?
It didn't take long.
When Republicans are in office, we're always. So during Trump, it was always, wow, this is a real shocker.
Yeah.
We thought GDP was going to come in at 2%. It's now 4%.
Right.
Always shocked by it.
Surprised.
And then with the Democrats, the dirtbag media, like, it came back, a little bit under expected. We weren't sure of that, but the fact of the matter is it's sad. And people have said to me over the last 2 years of COVID, how in the world is the stock market going up when, these Democrats in many places like New York and California have literally smashed small business owners? And I've said, well, you got to think about this, right? Small business owners are not publicly traded companies. If you owned a nail salon in New York, even in Florida for a little bit, but DeSantis had a brain in his head. He started opening up stuff, so thank God. I mean, he really led the country. But in New York, for a year and a half, they said, hey, you know what? You own a nail salon right next to Walmart. You're not allowed to open. You're a COVID spreader. However, if you want to go in and buy all your stuff for your nails at Walmart, you do that. Wait in line with the other 400 people, right?
Right.
Walmart's a publicly traded company. Right? So to me, I'm shocked the market didn't do better, to be honest with you. And, we talked about this on our podcast the other day, and it's going to even explode further. I said, watch and see companies like McDonald's do exceptionally well over the next 5 years.
You nailed that.
I'm not saying you go out and buy McDonald's. I think there's a lot of different companies out there. And somebody said to me, well, how could it be? We're increasing minimum wage. We're crushing these places. And I said, oh, no. What happens is McDonald's and all those other companies go, oh, Joe Biden wants to pay our people $20 an hour. Well, Joe Biden can go pay those people $20 an hour. We're going to replace little Billy with a robot. And all of a sudden, the labor costs in a fast food place go from 30% down to 5%. And that's exactly what's already happening. McDonald's blew out earnings the other day. And they'll be more adaptive, right? Okay, well, look at, we'll cut out some of our sit-in dine-ins. They don't make us any money anyways. You know what makes money? Drive-through. Go in, let me throw the burger at you and get the heck out.
Yep, exactly.
So they've adjusted. They always do. They figure out a way to be smarter than Joe Biden. Not that that's hard to do. I got a goldfish that I think can compete, but still, you're going to see the margins. And so I do think in the investment world, you got to be very careful right now. There are a lot of companies that are expensive. There's also a lot of companies out there that didn't play in the rally that have good earnings, that have good cash flow, that have, low debt. And I think you can sort of be very strategic. Paul Meeks, one of the investment managers on our team, a regular on CNBC, has said,
uh-oh. Did I lose your mic? Oh, I lost your mic. Sorry about that. I'll have to give him a call back. But anyway, so we were just talking about the some of the GDP numbers and the investment committee. Mike was just going to mention Paul Meeks on CNBC every week. We just had an investment committee meeting on Tuesday. Mike was not on that call, but interestingly enough, we talked about some of the stocks, Raytheon, Ford, McDonald's, and John Thur, who is our top analyst at at our firm, who's 40 some odd years in the industry. John has super long time in the business as a CFA. As Mike talked about McDonald's and really nailed it on the earnings side. John's been talking about Ford forever for a lot of the same reasons, right? Didn't get bogged down with the government handouts, didn't get all the stipulations that went along with it, allowed them to be more free and innovative. And boom, here we are with Ford, beating earnings last night. Mike, we lost you. We lost you. Paul Meeks would like to say, and then you're gone.
Yeah, I solved every world's problem, and you guys missed it. So I don't think I'm going to repeat it. I'm just that aggravated. No, I'm kidding. I'll repeat it. So Paul, one of the greatest managers in the world, really largest manager in the world in the 90s. Paul has always said it's time to upgrade, right? It's time to, every time when you're looking at investing, there's never a chance that you can't maybe just, do what we call a swap, which is, hey, look at, am I better off positioned over the next 1, 5, and 10 years at where I am? And are there other opportunities out there where I can swap up for a better opportunity? And oftentimes it's not. I mean, I'm not saying you go through your portfolio every day, but, literally our money managers once a month really are meeting as a committee to say, okay, what do we like? What do we not like? Obviously, if the individual stock portfolios are looking at every day, but still an opportunity. And my point is to make sure that as the market changes, you're changing with it and you're trading up. You're trading up to the sectors that are maybe a little bit undervalued, and that's good stuff. You're buying good stuff. You're not, taking bets with your money. You're diversified, but you're trading up to better things.
Yeah, I think with the one thing that, they don't teach anything in school anymore when it comes to economics and finance. But the one thing, if you went on to, college and you studied, finance or economics, you would learn things that, like opportunity cost. And there is, that's a real thing, right? I don't think a lot of people understand what that means. Well, it means the cost of a lost opportunity for not making a move, right? So you own a stock that's going into the dumper, right? It's been down, it got crushed, let's say. And for whatever reason, and now it's down, 50%. And you say, oh God, I just don't want to sell this stock at a loss. I'm going to hang on to it while every other stock in the world is going up, right? You're missing the opportunity of gains in other investments by holding on to losers. I'm not saying always, immediately sell your losers. You got to understand the reasons for holding a stock or not holding a stock or not, any investment, mutual fund, ETF, whatever. But people don't really weren't taught that opportunity cost. What it means is say, okay, there's a, yeah, well, I don't have a loss unless I lock it in, right? It's only a paper loss right now. But the reality of it is you're losing other opportunities in the market if there's no prospects for that company to come back. And so don't fall into the trap of, I don't want to call it's not laziness. It's more of a apathy, I guess, right? It's, I'm going to hang on. I don't want to take a loss. Have a discipline if you can do it yourself. Otherwise, find a good advisor. And what I would say with a good advisor is find somebody who's going to ask you questions, going to sit down, go through some homework, go through software. Denny uses software, does financial planning for folks as we do, goes through a questionnaire, really tries to find out what are you trying to accomplish? Do you need income? Do you need growth? Do you need both? What are your concerns for retirement? How do we set you up for a good retirement? Does guarantees need to be part of that or not? And so on and so forth. So, do yourself a favor, work with a qualified investment professional. That's a fiduciary. Ideally, there's a lot of salespeople, insurance sales folks running around here in South Florida. Some of them are fantastic. Some of them are car salesmen, used car salesmen, even worse. And so, try to find a fiduciary and somebody who has to put your best interest first over their own, and you'll be rest assured that you'll probably be in a decent position.
Glenn, we started this out by talking about economic growth, and really, what's amazing is how painful and incompetent the Democrats are. I mean, you look at economic growth rates, right, that have now slowed to 2% in the third quarter. 2%. Do you know how hard that is for you Democrats that are accidentally listening to this? Do you know how much incompetence has to go into an economy that's now only growing at 2%? After the recession we went through, after what the Democrats put us through in states like, New York, California, New Jersey, Illinois. I mean, anytime you have a recession, the upside of that is explosive. I look back at Ronald Reagan when we went through a recession and he cut taxes, cut regulations. We had an economy that was growing at 10 and 11%, right? Now we've got an Alzheimer's patient running this thing who literally can't even do 2% coming out of a recession, or that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for 2 or 3. That is hard to do, folks. It's really hard. Obama did it. He was successful at and he said it, I'm going to put my foot on the neck of corporate America and small businesses. And he did, right? So he's the first president ever to have 8 years where we didn't exceed 1 year with a 3% growth rate. Pretty hard to do with free market capitalism. He accomplished it. Way to go.
Right? Way to go. You win. Is it incompetence, so Mike, or is it intentional? I mean, in 6 months, we were set to grow at double digits, this year, or at least high single digits, right? We're not going to even come in close to that. They're revising expectations lower for the fourth and the first quarter of next year. He did that in 6 months. I mean, from January 22nd, Inauguration Day, until about June 22nd, that's about a 5-month span. Within 5 months, we had out of control inflation, higher gas prices, a border crisis, backed up ports, shortages of goods, right? I mean, it's a disaster. And you look at it,
not
and
to mention the heroin flowing over the southern border.
Yeah, well, wide open borders, right? Pace. I don't know if you could really say this is incompetence. I mean, you almost have to think that this might really be intentional, as if the Democrats for years have said, and you can hear it in what they say with Ilhan Omar and the rest of them. The radicals on the left want America to be taken down to a notch or many notches, right? Yeah. The sad part is, look, is our U.S. government the kindest and purest and most honest and without devoid of no. All governments are essentially power hungry evil monsters is what they turn into. I hate to say that, but that's what they become.
Let me say this though. Historically, we have been the
best. By comparison, we are the best. Absolutely. I was getting there.
Maybe it's a dirty shirt in a pile of really, really dirty laundry.
Oh, yeah.
But we have been the best.
Well, we're the best.
Money out to people that hate us.
Yeah, we're the best looking pig in the fair, no doubt about it. But those that hate our government, I was just going to say, by comparison, Mike, is our government perfect? Of course not. Have we done bad things like selling, high-powered weapons to Mexican drug cartels? Oh, you betcha we did. But did we murder 50 million people in concentration camps and with starvation like the Chinese Communist Party did in the 1950s? No. Right? Did we starve millions and tens of millions of our population like Stalin did? No. Right? Are our people starving in this country like they are in North Korea under that communist regime? No. So by comparison, we're definitely way better than everybody else. It doesn't mean, however, that we shouldn't fight for smaller government, right? Because ultimately, when there's no accountability, and that's what you have. Look at Dr. Fauci. He's like the modern day Mengele, this guy is. I mean, he's on record saying, deaths of Americans is okay because that justifies and gets us the research that we need. This is the guy who violated, even Barack Obama wasn't dumb enough to continue to allow gain of function research. And yet Dr. Fauci found a way around President Obama's executive order, directive, that said no more funding of gain of function research. What did Dr. Fauci do? He found a loophole, like all bureaucrats do. Oh, I won't fund the Wuhan lab directly. I'll just fund this other eco health agency or eco alliance that will then turn around and fund the Franken virus experiments at the Wuhan lab. And that's exactly what happened, right? Now, will Fauci he lied to Congress. It's clear now the NIH has walked back those statements saying, yeah, Dr. Fauci wasn't quite right. We did kind of do the gain of function thing.
Worst part is he lied.
He lied to Congress. He will not be held accountable.
It's one thing if you're the top of this big agency and you go, look at, I didn't know what was going on here, but I'm getting involved, right? If you own a big company, if you're running one of these publicly traded companies, do you know what's going on in every department? You don't. But the right way to handle it is to take accountability for it and say, you know what, this is a big deal, and I understand it. I'm going to take the responsibility for it, and this is not going to happen again. He lied.
But he did it, though.
He lied to everybody.
Because he did it. Because he couldn't possibly blame it on his underlings saying, I didn't know what was going on. He was the one who did it. He was the one spearheading it. He was the one who's on tape a decade ago saying these experiments are so important, we need to continue them, even if the threat of loss of human life is a potential outcome of this. He did this. We funded this virus in conjunction with the Chinese Communist Party. That's why we have to live with this. And fortunately, we live in a place like Florida. In places like New York, the citizens get punished for the failings of the government officials, right? So when COVID is now starting to spike up north, as DeSantis said it would, right? This is a wave. People go inside up north as things get colder. People get COVID up north. That's exactly what's happening now. You're seeing Florida now with the lowest rates in the country. New York is starting to pick up, right? It's natural. But what happened in Florida is Governor DeSantis, they're all bashing him 2 months ago. What are you going to do? Are you going to go past the mask? He's like, no, I'm not going to do anything. This is seasonal. It's going to flow through. It doesn't make a difference. Why would we impose silly regulations when they don't matter at all? And then,
they don't work.
But in places like New York, but they blame. It's like victim shaming, Mike. In places like New York, you got the county executive and the governor and the Kathy Hochul, the governor now, basically blaming the citizens. If the rates spike in New York, it's not their failed policies. It's your fault, right? It's craziness. Anyway. All right, we got to take another break, Mike. Hang with me here. I got to plug this event again. If you are out and about on Saturday night, folks, and you're looking for something to do, check out the Hope Sound VFW. Their Halloween dance party is on Saturday. It's only $16. Salad and Italian food starting at 6 o'clock. Music and dancing starting at 7 with Generation Gap Entertainment. Huge dance floor, huge well-stocked bar. All benefits to all proceeds to benefit Martin County veterans. So if you get a chance Saturday night, you got nothing going on, 6 o'clock, dinner dance party over at the Hope Sound VFW. All right, we're going to take a very short break. We'll be right back here on the Denny Artache Show. All right, welcome back. You've got the financial guys, Glenn Wiggle and Mike Lomas, in for the great Denny Artache, the musician extravagante. That's Spanish lingo for those of you that are unaware. I
thought it was French, but
my kids and my son has gone to school his whole life in Florida, right? So we moved down here back in 2010, 2011. So I've been here for quite some time. Transplant from New York. And so my son, who's now 14, basically has, done his entire schooling in Florida. And in Florida, they take Spanish pretty much the whole time, right? So, he doesn't necessarily, speak fluently, but he knows enough to understand it and speak a few words. So I always try to tease him and I try to throw words at him like enchilada, burrito. And he gets so mad. He's like, that's like me yelling hamburger, hot dog in your face. I'm like, yeah, I know, but that's the only Mexican Spanish I know.
The only thing I know is Uno Cerveza. I know how to
Uno
sort of
Cerveza.
order a beer. That's about it. So.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to be ordering the beer, though, you need to also understand how to ask where the bathroom is, because I made that mistake. I was in a Mexican bar ordering beers one time in Cabo, and I didn't ask for I didn't know how to ask where the bathroom was, but I knew how to say Uno Cerveza, so I just kept saying that. And after about the fourth Uno Cerveza, it was like, where is the toilette or whatever that's not it either. I'm sure that's not it either. So anyway,
now you can look on your phone. Now you get the translation. So.
Yeah, exactly. Now you can look on your phone.
Beauty of an iPhone.
Exactly. All right. So Governor DeSantis, we were just talking about the New York, and places like New York. I said California, New York. If the rates rise, they punish the residents, right? So rates are going up in New York, and now they're threatening to shut down businesses again, right? They're forcing masks onto school kids. They're pushing the Buffalo Bills, for example, just went to a vaccine passport, Excelsior pass. New York has. New York is all in on socialism.
You'll love this. So our big office in New York is in Buffalo, New York, and so there was an article in one of the local news agents or news stations this morning that said, "We got to get you. So you got to show your papers now. Have to have your second shot to get into the Bills game. And oh, by the way, we're relocating this, or we're building a new stadium, but we can't build it in the city of Buffalo because it's broke." So I'm reading this article. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. I have to show proof of papers to get places, and the city's broke. Where does that showing proof of papers? When has that happened before? If we go back in history, right? And it's so sad. The city's broke. Let me see. You're Democrat run. You're forcing people to show papers to move around and do stuff in town, and you're broke. What a shocker that is. What a shocker, right?
It's amazing.
Oh, there's another. By the way, for those of you that I'm my real estate agent who bought me or helped me with real estate down in Florida for the last 8-9 years. She owes me dinner because 2 years ago when COVID started, she said, "Mike, these real estate prices are high down here." I said, "Oh no, they just started." And she said, "What do you? No way." She said, "Mike," she goes, "I'm telling you, if you have property, now's the time to sell it." I said, "Oh no.
No.
What's gonna happen here? I'm gonna tell you this, and we've said it. You can go back on our podcast, go back on our radio shows. The communist regime called the Democrat Party, which is now running places like New York, will get very aggressive and start to push people out and small businesses. And these prices will look cheap 2 years from now." She said, "No way." Well, she called me 2 weeks ago. She said, "Boy, I owe you dinner." I'm like, "Yes, you do."
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Well, that's the question for folks, right? Is as real estate prices have gone up substantially, is it, they ask themselves, well, maybe I should get out now. Maybe I should sell. But, a million people are leaving New York a day, every day. People are coming to Florida because Florida's the land of the free. Now, this article, by the way, going back to this article for a second, where was that here? This from Yahoo News, right? Florida now has America's lowest COVID rate, but does Ron DeSantis deserve credit? Of course, a left-leaning station, news outlet like Yahoo, can't possibly figure this out, right? But of course,
think about that.
They come out and say, "No, it wasn't him. It wasn't him at all, Mike."
Yeah, think about that. Not like middle of the pack. Florida is number one. Like everything a government agency touches, it can't be farther from wrong.
But listen to this.
Right, closer to wrong, I should say, right? So, for instance, Fauci and his friends, they all predicted these COVID models. They were 95 to 97% wrong. Some of these models were 99% wrong when you really actually factor in who really died of COVID, right? It's amazing. So now, oh my God, Florida's the worst, right? It's, in fact, they
can't give him credit though. They can't.
No, remember that video that they came out with that, oh my God, it's a free for all down there. You can do whatever you want. And it was supposed to be this left-wing attack. And I'm watching it going, oh my gosh, I can't wait to be down there full time.
It's like an ad. Right? It's like an ad for Florida.
Yeah. So now, not only are they middle of the pack, not only are they, maybe top 30%, Florida is number one.
Right.
And by the way, for you Democrats, move back. If you're going to vote Democrat down in Florida, please get out of there.
Yeah.
Please. I'm begging you. I'm in New York right now. I go back and forth. I want to be in Florida full time. Both families are here. The kids are a little older. We are going to be there in the next 5 to 7 years and on that trajectory. But I'm telling you, please go back to New York, go back to New Jersey, Destroy those states. Continue to do that. They're already messed up.
Right.
Don't
They
mess
already
up
have the
Florida.
politicians you want, right? They've got the left-wing politicians. Let me just read this bit for you. So, and they've done it without mask or vaccine mandates, added conservative radio host Clay Travis. This is why Ron DeSantis terrifies the Corona bros, because all of their shutdowns and mandates, which destroy freedoms, provide no benefits. But the article goes on to say, but is that true? Did DeSantis do anything? Whoops. Did DeSantis, oh no, I lost the article. It goes on to say, did DeSantis actually do anything? Or did the virus just come in waves? We know the virus comes in waves, and so no, it wasn't DeSantis. It was just the fact that the virus. The whole point, you mental midgets, is the fact that he didn't have to do anything, right?
Right.
The damage that's been done in other states, Massachusetts, California, New Jersey, New York, he didn't have to destroy his economy here, which is why there's a less than 5% unemployment rate here in Florida. He didn't have to do anything. You know why? Because doing stuff didn't work. I mean, you look at the numbers and they simply didn't work. But again, in New York, instead of taking responsibility, say, you know what, gosh, we put all these mandates in place and they just didn't seem to really help or really do anything. Instead, they victim shame the residents, right? It's your fault because we didn't have a high enough compliance rate. It's the unvaxxed who are out in public. It's people going into grocery stores without masks. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, all right, Mike, as we wrap this up, I want to plug Denny again here if I can find this. Now, by the way, folks, Denny is not necessarily as political as Mike and I are. So don't necessarily take Mike and I's opinions to be that of Denny Artache, because he is definitely, although I would say right, leaning and Republican, certainly, maybe not quite as right as Till of the Hun as Mike and I are. Yeah. But his office number.
He asked us to fill in, so we're going to fill in our way, and Denny does his way.
That's exactly right. If you want to reach Denny, go to his website, artachefinancialgroup.com, which is spelled ARTACHE, Artache, as Artache, financialgroup.com. So artachefinancialgroup.com, or call him at the office, 561-305-8226, offices in Jupiter. And Denny is a Stewart native, actually. So
when do you get who gets a financial advisor that was a ex rock star that played for Three Dog Night and Iron Butterfly? That's pretty cool. So if you're going to interview people, put him on your list, because that is really cool. And I can tell you that his background, his background helps him. I mean, he's very passionate about helping people because he's seen so many people over the years, bring in income, but not do the right stuff with it, not diversify it, and not end up retired where they needed to be.
Absolutely. And so if you need Denny, give him a call or go to his website, artachefinancialgroup.com. And don't forget, folks, on Saturday, if you're out and about, go to the Home Sound VFW for their dinner dance party, 6 o'clock. Get you food, and 7 o'clock, get you some dancing. So again, $16.
Can I plug us quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Real quick.
Don't forget iHeartRadio. Every Saturday, we do a show 1 to 3 on iHeartRadio, The Financial Guys. So you can tune into that if you like what you heard here. We'd love to have you be more of a part of that as well. TheFinancialGuys.com for our website if you want more on us and our podcast.
And podcast as well. All right. On behalf of Mike Lomas, thanks, Mike. I'm Glenn Wiggle with the Financial Guys, and you'll have Denny Artache back real soon. Thanks again, folks. We'll see you next week on WSTU.